Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go a while.
Hey everyone, well, I just wanted to do an update video to let you all know what's going on in our lives here and just kind of talk about what's going to happen here in the future. Here I am still in the Central Valley of California, and let me tell you something, we are in the middle of summertime and temperatures are getting really hot, or they are hot. Like today, the temperature is supposed to get up into the low 100s, about 104, 105, and to me that is hot. Now I know in previous videos someone had stated that I always complain about the cold, but in this case here I'm complaining about the heat. So I've been in the Central Valley since the end of January, and I have been working since then, and I'm currently on my second contract. This will be the longest that I've ever stayed at one place and away from home in like 2.5 years. So it's a little bit different for me to do this, but again, my goal was to come out here and make as much money as I can, taking as little time off as possible. So with temperatures getting into the hundreds here in the Central Valley, I wanted to see how the tab handled. So last year, if y'all remember, I left home in June to fly home to Florida to pick up Jeff and Zoe and Ajax to fly out here to California, and we took Highway 1 and 101 all the way up to Seattle, Washington, where we spent the 3 months during the summertime up there, and from Seattle we ended up going back home to Florida. So this is really the first time I've had the tab in temperatures this hot, and it is handling okay. Some of the main issues that I'm having with the tab is that if it gets to close to 100 or below 100, the AC unit has a hard time staying cool itself and will overheat and shut itself down to only fan mode only, shutting down the cooling process, and the camper does get hot again. I kind of did something different today, or the past couple of days, where I actually started to cool the camper earlier than when it got hot, so that the air it takes in from the camper is not hot, it's cool, and hopefully that'll help keep the AC unit cooler. Now, mine's a 2015 tab. Maybe that is different from the newer tabs that are coming out now, but that is a problem that I have. Also, if it gets too hot in the camper, the refrigerator that I have also has a very difficult time keeping the refrigerator cool. So it'll overheat and produce a lot of heat. I tell you, that refrigerator can produce a lot of heat during the winter time. Feels great, it could act like a heating source, but man, during the summertime, it feels like a heater. And so if the heat isn't dissipated from the refrigerator efficiently, the cooling process does stop. Again, I'm not sure if this is an issue with the newer tabs or the older tabs, or maybe it's just specific to mine, but I'm kind of having to work around the limitations of the refrigerator and the AC unit. At nighttime, however, the temperatures do drop into the 60s, and it's a very comfortable 60s. And in fact, a lot of times in the morning, I'll be a little too cool and need a blanket. So what I end up doing is just shutting off the AC unit, popping the vent at the very top and turning on the fan and cracking open the windows, and it really does feel so nice and cool. Okay, so I wanted to talk about what's going on now. I am in my second contract here at this hospital in Modesto, and I have a month left of my contract. I do plan extending it another 5 to 6 weeks into the middle of October, where I will call it quits for the end of the year. I plan to fly home, pick up Jeff and the 2 dogs, and fly back here and do a drive back to Florida, but this time we are going to take a very different route back, and it's going to be our biggest and most challenging trip to date. And like I said before, This has been the longest time that I've been in one place and the longest time that I haven't been home to see family. However, Jeff in a couple of weeks is coming out to see me. He's going to fly in to San Francisco, and we're going to be staying in San Francisco for 3 or 4 days while he's out here. And yesterday I did buy him a bike. So we are going to bring our bikes into San Francisco and ride it around the city, just kind of sightseeing and doing things a little different than we've had done in the past. I know that this is going to be the last time I see Jeff until the middle of October. Okay, so for our trip in October, we are so excited for this. I've already started planning in depth on how we're gonna do this and where we're gonna go and what we're gonna do. Our first major stop is gonna be Toronto, Canada. However, in the past, Jeff and I have beelined across the country to get to our first major stop. This time we won't be doing that. In fact, I have actually planned it to where we're only going to drive approximately 400 miles a day, about 8 hours of drive time a day, and we're going to stop and stay at an actual RV park where we can just settle in and maybe enjoy some of the area before going to bed and waking up in the morning and getting ready to hit our next destination. So I've selected, so instead of taking like 3 days to get out to Toronto, which would have been like 16, 17, 18 hour days, 18 hour drive days, we are going to take about 5 or 6 days. Jeff and I are looking forward to Toronto. We both have never been there before, and so we wanted to make that stop in October. My concern was, yes, it's going to be a little chilly, a little cold, actually a nice change from what I'm experiencing here. But everybody that I've talked to that live in Toronto say, or has lived or is from Toronto, said that October is a really good time to be there. And so I think we kind of timed it nicely. I'm actually excited to see Toronto. And while there, we're also going to see Niagara Falls. So from there, we're going to head on over to Boston, Massachusetts, and Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween. We are coming in after the big Halloween festival that's going on in Salem. We didn't want to really be there during that time, and quite frankly, all the RV parks that are around the area were completely booked. Not one site was available during the Halloween festival weekend, which is the weekend right before Halloween. So we kind of planned it to where we're going to come in when everybody leaves and really just enjoy Salem and Boston and the Northeast during the fall weather, and with the color changes and all those things that I really like about the Northeast during the fall season. While there, we're going to visit my father's side of the family. They all live in or around Providence, Rhode Island. So I'm going to stop by and see them and spend some time with them, maybe a day or two. We're also going to go to Newport, Rhode Island and Plymouth. We're going to see all the touristy areas there and kind of explore and sightsee and eat. So from there, we plan to go to New York City. There is an RV park on the New Jersey side across from the city that we are planning to stay. I've called them and left a message to see how their rates are and how booked they are, but they have not returned their calls yet. So we are, it literally is one of the only RV parks that's even close to that city. So if that doesn't pan out, we may not go to New York City, but we are crossing our fingers that would be the case. And so we're gonna spend a few days there. From there, we're going to head over to Washington, D.C. I've been to Washington, D.C. years ago. It was when I was a kid. We got to see the museums, got to see all the things. But Jeff and I are looking forward to seeing Washington, D.C. and kind of doing more of an exploration there and seeing, the capital as it is, and having a good time. From there, our next stop will be Charleston, South Carolina. However, that drive is about a 12-hour drive. And instead of coming in late into that RV park, we're going to cut the day in half. So I plan to stay at an RV park or a state park on one of the barrier islands in North Carolina to kind of enjoy a day a half day of rest and before moving on to Charleston. Charleston, Jeff and I have never been to, so this is going to be new to us. I did originally plan to go Savannah, but Jeff and I had been to Savannah before in the past, so this time we're going to skip it and go to Charleston instead. We're looking forward to that. We've heard that it's a really, really nice place to visit and to eat, and we are definitely looking forward to that. And then from there, we're gonna head back to Melbourne, Florida, and settle in for the holidays. In Florida, I am going to do what I've always done in the past for the past 2 years, is I'm going to pretty much take some time off. I'm going to work per diem for the local hospitals like I did in the past, and just make some money and not try to spend the money that I've accumulated here. And that is my goal for there. I am looking forward to going home. I miss it very much, and this is, I'm actually thinking about it every day. Like I said, I have been completely worn out over these past few contracts here, because I'm working for 12, 13-hour days a week, and with 1 or 2 days off in between, and that gets so tiring and can get difficult, and I feel myself getting worn out. Next year, we gotta see what's gonna happen. I did reserve a spot here at the RV park for the end of January, early February, just in anticipation of coming back to this area, but quite frankly, I am wanting to be someplace else. I'm really not sure where I'm gonna go. The job markets for travel nurses right now are kind of tight. There are a lot of people who flocked into the travel nursing industry, and jobs are being taken up and prices are going down because of it. So I don't know if I don't get the pay that I want next year, I may just hold out back at home for as long as I can and just do work at home instead of coming out again to the West Coast to work. So we'll have to see how that turns out. So anyway, well, thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna try and keep updating this, but there is not a whole lot going on in my life at the moment. It is just strictly work with 1 or 2 days off in between, and working some more. From here on, I probably won't do a video until then. So you all take it easy, and it's good talking to you.
Welcome to my